Hey there. Welcome to Bushwhacked Adventures. Are you ready to journey into the wilderness and explore the great outdoors? Good morning from the trailer. It's another day. It's time to actually see what the next step is in here. And that's where we're at. That's the Cubic Mini Grizzly. That's the hole that I plan on putting it in. In the last episode, you saw me kind of frame this out so that it is ready to accommodate this stove in this space. So I do have a couple of items I'm trying to work through right now, trying to figure out as I come up. I think my flue is going to be about right there in the gap between the nose section and the main part of the box. And I think I have a 1x1 steel tubing rib up there that I'll have to make sure that I can work around. So we'll get into that in a minute, but right now just wanted to give you a little preview of what the end result should look like. Stove sitting right there with shielding all around it. Okay, I'm going to pull out the right tools that I need today and we'll work on getting started. Okay, that's where we're going to be spending a lot of our time throughout the day today, right in that area. So to start off, I'll move the stove. Then we're going to work on leveling up that lower surface. It's off by 1/4 inch on that left side. So we'll get it leveled up, and then I'll start working on my platform that the stove will actually sit on. It's going to rest about 3 inches higher than what you see right there, based upon the way I'm going to build this. So you'll see each step as I go along. First off, we'll have the Cubic Mini adapter plate for the air intake, and then I'll have about a 1-inch gap, and then it will be the pull-out tray, and that will be suspended underneath a sheet of steel that will be the final resting place for the stove, and it'll be bolted onto that. Okay, let's get going. All right, what we have here is a sheet of 16 gauge steel from Home Depot. I honestly don't remember how much it cost, 12 by 24, but it's going to need to be trimmed a little bit. You can see across here, across this end, to create the platform that the stove itself will rest on. So we'll work on that. Okay, let's give you a little update. I have been working on getting this shelf leveled up. This ledger board over on this right side was a little high by 1/4 inch. So I dropped that down, it's level now. And I've additionally been working on trimming down that 12 by 24 16 gauge sheet of metal down to this. And what I'm going to do is have carriage bolts coming from the bottom side up with a washer or a nut and washer to lock it into the board, and then it will space this up high enough that I can accommodate the air intake and the pull-out tray. So I'll have several bolts that will come up through the surface. Now, wood has a combustion temperature somewhere around 450 to 500 degrees. So I'm surrounded by wood. I'm going to be putting in the shielding. And with the shielding, I still don't want this piece to be in contact with any of the wood surfaces. So I've spaced it so I'll have about a 3/4 inch gap minimum all the way around once I get it placed in position, probably about right there. It'll be a little bit more in the back, and that gap is going to prevent direct contact between the steel and the wood. Additionally, it will provide an avenue for airflow to come from underneath, from the air inlet, up through the baffles, or the, oh, what is the word they're called? The shielding that I've ordered to install, because it's designed to have airflow behind it to help transfer that heat away from those wood surfaces. So that's the plan. Right now, I think I'm happy with what I have here. I am going to work on figuring, excuse me. I'm going to work on figuring out my placement for the bolts and go ahead and get those drilled. I want to get this plate finished so that I can put a couple of coats of high temp paint on it before it's actually installed. Okay, that's a little bit of an update right now. I'm going to work on getting this figured out. I'll go ahead and put the camera down and get to it. I'm not going to push it down on, as I have a few times already, but at this point, everything should be drilled. Sorry about that squeaky noise. To accommodate right there. Yep, it looks like my holes are going to line up and we'll be good. So I am now ready to clean this raw metal, get it primed and painted. So, and you know what? Yeah. I also need to, and this is just something to know, when you order the kit, it doesn't come with the hardware to bolt it to whatever surface, however you're setting it up. So I need to go and grab a couple of carriage bolts, whatever I'm going to use down there to be able to set that up. Let's pull this out of the way for a minute. Go up there with it. One of the next things is to set this up about in this area. So I'll need to drill a 2-inch diameter hole to poke down through. Then this will mount over the top, like so. Okay, that's the next few steps, and then we'll got to get this painted so it can be working on drying. Then I can work on drilling a hole. Okay, very good. Okay, things are moving along. I've got my steel plate painted and it's drying right now. So I'm at a point where I'm ready to install this here, but I need to drill a hole. Probably should be 2 1/8, but I've got a 2-inch bit, so we'll see how this works. But we'll drill a hole through, see if we need to clean it up a little bit to get that in. But all right, I'm back. Oh, let's get a broom, clean that up. Okay, so let's do a test, see how it works. I would call that perfect. Yes, now the way this is designed, it's supposed to be mounted on the bottom of the rack, which Cubic Mini has you mount onto the wall. So it's designed to screw in from the bottom. I, on the other hand, want it to be anchored into my block here. So I think I will probably drop a screw down into the wood just to keep it from pivoting. And then anchor that there. Okay. Or maybe I will use like a 1 5/8 screw to go down into the wood and just do it from the top. We'll see. We'll get that figured out. But I need to now figure out where to drill underneath here for my tubing. Which I couldn't find anything that was flexible that you would use to go 2-inch outer diameter or inner diameter. So this is 2-inch outer diameter and it's going to slide in here. It'll restrict it to 1 7/8 or 1 1/2 inch ID inner diameter. All right. My magnet is going to come in handy right now. All right, last shield is ready to be mounted. I've cut down that inner edge to leave a finished edge out here. And that's going to nicely wrap around the stove. Oh yeah, where'd my magnet go? This is the way to do it. Lesson learned. If you're buying this stove and the shields, buy a magnet on a stick, because it made all the difference in the world. Okay, let's get this first one ready. Now, let's see what it looks like. About there. Okay. At this point, I'm going to work on some tedious application of some screws under here. And then it'll be finished. done. Okay, now it's time to see if everything I did helped at all. I've got to remount the stove to the legs. As you can see here, oh, actually before I do that, I'm finding my hole is just slightly off here. And I need to re-drill. And this is something that I learned, is that when you use the tray, which great design, see how it's notched here? That's to accommodate the bolt heads for these screws. That's good, otherwise you wouldn't be able to pull it out all the way. But there's also a screw here which drops in to prevent it from coming all the way out. And so where I have this solid sheet of steel here, I had to drill a hole, and it looks like I was off by 1/4 of an inch in my guesstimation on that. So what I'm going to do right now is to drill it a little bigger, and I'm going to have to just use a different screw for this. I'll figure it out. Right now, let's get this hole drilled. There we go. Now, I'll be able to drop a screw in there. You know what magnets are good for? Picking up metal filings. Okay, got that cleaned up. But now I can drop that in, and when it's done correctly, that will prevent the tray from coming out and dumping. So that's the plan. And stainless steel is not super magnetic, so I'm getting the metal shards but not the stainless. We'll just get the vacuum out here and clean it all up. Okay, there you have it. Stove is installed. Next up, we'll get this secured underneath and then stovepipe through the ceiling. I'm pretty certain that we're going to be going right about there. So we'll have to look at how we're doing in proximity to the get you the right angle. So we're going to go right up here. Then it will be ready for the next adventure. Okay, for now, this is the end of today. It's getting dark outside. You see out that window a little bit, getting to dusk. We're going to call it a day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. All right, we're in another day. It's a mess in here. Things everywhere. But we've got the stove, got the flue pipe through. The shielding is going to be about right there, because that's probably the closest spot to the flue pipe. But we still have a lot of wall here that is close, and so what I'm going to do is to actually line it all with a galvanized metal to help, and try to put a spacer behind where I anchor it in, so there's a little bit of an air gap in between the metal and the wood. So that's the plan right now. I've got a piece cut that is about 2 feet by 34 feet, or 34 inches. So 24 by 34. We'll get that put in and see how it fits. I think that'll be good there. We'll get it spaced out and then get that piece mounted on there. I think we're going to be in good shape. Okay, right now I'm going to drill some holes to be able to anchor this in, and then figure out what I'm going to use for a spacer on the back side. I'll be back to you. What you see here is progress. I've kind of have a time crunch. Got to get a lot done today and have some plans for tonight. So I haven't been able to just record everything, but what you can see is progress. We've got the tools up. We've got a shielding that I've put in up here behind just to ensure that we're okay. I think it's maybe a little overkill shielding, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm ready now to get this anchored. Well, let me go ahead and do the top part. Ta-da! Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna do a little cleanup, sweep, vacuum, and then I want to get a fire going in here. It is 75 degrees. We don't need a fire today. However, yeah, 75 right now. I want to burn off a little more of the smell here and just kind of test things, make sure that I'm going to be all right. Okay, let's see what we can get out of that. we have a fire. Let's see what happens. Along with having a wood burning stove in a trailer, you're going to want a smoke alarm and carbon monoxide. This is a combination unit on a 10-year battery, so wall space isn't a premium in here. Additionally, you want to make sure that you have a fire extinguisher ready to go in case it is needed. Hopefully it's not and they never get used, but wouldn't want to be in here without them. $625 and climbing. Top is 440. Excuse me. Flue pipe 230. Up here 124. Shielding behind 215. 116. This side 170. Shielding behind 375. Over here to this side 310. Bottom 125. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell to receive notifications for future content. That's all, folks. See you on our next adventure.